Men, women who are about to cheat don't announce their intentions. They don't tell you they're considering betraying you or that they've met someone else. Instead, they start making excuses that create the time, space, and emotional distance needed to pursue affairs while keeping you completely in the dark. Before we start, hit subscribe, drop a like, and comment if you've heard these exact excuses and later discovered she was cheating. Your engagement helps other men recognize affair preparation disguised as legitimate explanations. Excuse 1. I need more me time to work on myself. When she suddenly starts emphasizing that she needs significantly more alone time, more space to focus on herself, more time for self-care and personal development than she ever needed before in your relationship, she's creating blocks of unaccounted time where you're not supposed to question what she's doing. The self-improvement excuse is perfect cover because challenging it makes you seem unsupportive of her personal growth. What this excuse actually accomplishes. This excuse accomplishes creation of regular alone time where her activities can't be monitored or questioned. Affairs require private time for communication, meetings, and maintaining the other relationship. By framing affair time as self-care or personal development, she gets you to voluntarily give her the space needed for cheating while thinking you're being a supportive partner who respects her need for independence. Notice the sudden increase in me time needs. If she was previously content with normal amounts of personal time and suddenly requires dramatically more, something changed. People don't go from enjoying their partner's company to needing constant space without reason. If the reason is genuine personal development, there should be evidence of actual self-improvement activities. If there's no evidence but the space requirements remain, the time is going elsewhere. Watch what she actually does during me time. If she claims to need evenings alone for self-care, but you notice she's not actually home, or she's in the bathroom for extended periods with her phone, or she's out for hours with vague explanations of what she did, the me time isn't being used for self-improvement. Real self-care leaves evidence. She'd seem more relaxed. She might mention books she's reading or activities she's doing. Fake self-care leaves no trace because it's actually affair time. Pay attention to whether she's open about me time activities or secretive. If her alone time has become secretive, where she's vague about what she does, gets defensive when you ask, or can't provide details about how she spent hours alone, she's hiding what that time actually involves. Legitimate personal development isn't secretive. Affairs are. If me time has become protected, mysterious time you're not allowed to inquire about, it's protecting something she doesn't want you to know. Observe if the me time coincides with specific patterns. If she needs alone time on particular days each week, or during times when you're unavailable, or correlated with when she's most protective of her phone, the pattern reveals scheduled affair time. If me time requests seem random, but always result in her being unreachable and unavailable, she's creating windows for a fair partner whenever he's available. Notice whether personal growth actually occurs. If months of increased me time pass and you see no evidence of the personal development she claimed to be working on, the time isn't going to self-improvement. If she's not reading self-help books, attending therapy, taking classes, developing new skills, or showing any tangible growth despite all this time supposedly dedicated to herself, the excuse was cover for other activities. Why this excuse precedes cheating? This excuse precedes cheating because affairs require private time that partners would normally question. By framing affair time as self-care that you should support, she gets access to the time needed while making you feel wrong for questioning it. Challenging her need for space makes you the unsupportive partner, preventing her personal growth, which allows her to continue affair under guise of healthy independence. Excuse 2. I need to reconnect with my friends. I've been neglecting them. When she suddenly emphasizes needing much more time with friends, claims she's neglected friendships, and needs to prioritize them more, or starts having frequent girls' nights and friend hangouts she never had before, she's creating social cover for affair time. The friendship excuse is perfect because maintaining friendship sounds healthy and you're expected to support her having active social life outside the relationship. What this excuse actually accomplishes: this excuse accomplishes providing built-in alibi for time spent with affair partner. She can claim to be with friends when she's actually with him. She can use friends' names as cover for where she is and what she's doing. Girls' nights create entire evenings where she's supposedly with female friends but could be anywhere. The friendship excuse makes affair time seem socially healthy rather than suspicious. Notice if friend time increase correlates with other suspicious behaviors. If suddenly needing more friend time coincides with phone secrecy, schedule changes, appearance improvements, or emotional distance from you, the friend excuse is part of larger pattern of affair preparation. If friendship reconnection happens alongside multiple other changes in her behavior, friends aren't the real reason for increased social activity. Watch whether friends actually confirm the time together. If she claims to be with specific friends, those friends should corroborate if casually mentioned later. If you mention something she supposedly did with Sarah and Sarah seems confused or contradicts the story, she wasn't actually with Sarah. If friends don't confirm the extensive time together she claims, she's using their names as alibis while actually being elsewhere. Pay attention to whether friend activities are described with detail. When people spend time with friends, they naturally share stories about conversations, what they did, funny moments, or what friends are dealing with. If she comes home from supposed girls' nights with no stories, no details about what they talked about, and generic vague answers about just hanging out, she wasn't with friends. Real social experiences generate real stories. Observe if you're being systematically excluded from friend activities. If she used to include you in group hangouts, or at least occasionally, and now all friend time excludes you with explanations that they want just girls, or you wouldn't be interested, she needs you away from these activities for reason. If sudden exclusion from her social life coincides with dramatically increased social activity, she's protecting something from your observation. Notice if her phone and social media show friend activity. If she's supposedly spending hours with friends multiple times per week, there should be social media evidence. Photos together, tagged posts, comments, messages visible on her phone. If she claims constant friend time but social media shows those friends doing other things or not posting about time with her, the friend gatherings aren't happening as described. Why this excuse precedes cheating? This excuse precedes cheating because it provides perfect cover for affair meetings. She can be with a affair partner while claiming to be with friends, and you're expected not to check up on her because that would show you don't trust her friendships. Using friends as alibis allows extensive time with a affair partner while appearing to have healthy social life. By the time you verify she wasn't where she said, the affair is well established. Excuse 3. Work is really demanding right now. I need to put in extra hours. When she suddenly claims work requires significantly more time than before with late nights at the office, unexpected business trips, weekend work sessions, or early morning meetings that didn't exist in her job previously, she's creating work-based alibis for affair time. The work excuse is powerful because you're expected to support her career, and questioning whether she's really working makes you seem controlling or unsupportive. What this excuse actually accomplishes. This excuse accomplishes providing institutional cover for time that can't easily be verified. Most partners don't have access to verify actual work schedules, so work claims are hard to confirm without obvious snooping. She can claim to be working late when she's meeting a affair partner. Business trips can be romantic getaways. Work emergencies create last-minute availability to see him. The work excuse makes affair time seem professional and unquestionable. Notice if work demands increase without corresponding career changes. If she's suddenly working dramatically longer hours, but there's been no promotion, no new project she can specifically describe, no change in position, and no additional income. The work explanation doesn't match reality. Real increased work responsibility comes with verifiable job changes. If only change is being gone more claiming work reasons, verify whether work actually requires this. Watch whether she can provide specific work details. If you ask what project is requiring late nights, and she gives vague answers about catching up or being busy without concrete specifics, she can't explain because the work doesn't exist. Real work comes with real details about what you're working on. If she can describe morning work but can't explain what kept her there until 10 p.m., evening hours weren't spent working. Pay attention to whether work schedule changes can be verified. If she claims to be working late, you could verify by calling her work number, checking if her car is at her workplace, or noting whether her computer shows actual work activity during supposed work hours. If she becomes defensive about verification attempts or creates reasons why you can't confirm her schedule, it's because verification would expose lies. Observe if work trips seem legitimate. If she's suddenly taking business trips to locations she won't specify clearly, for purposes she can't articulate, with minimal advance notice and no business materials or evidence of actual work when she returns, the trips aren't work-related. Real business travel involves clear destinations, defined purposes, and evidence of actual business conducted. Affair trips involve vague details and personal activities disguised as professional. Notice whether colleagues corroborate increased work. If she's supposedly working late constantly with specific colleagues, those colleagues should confirm long hours if mentioned casually. If coworker mentions normal work hours when she's claimed to be staying late together, or if you discover her department doesn't actually have the project she described, work excuse is covering affair time. Why this excuse precedes cheating. This excuse precedes cheating because work provides institutional credibility that's hard to verify. Partners feel they can't question work commitments without seeming unreasonable. She can spend entire evenings with a affair partner claiming work emergency. She can travel for romantic weekends, calling them business trips. Work excuse allows extensive affair time, while making you seem controlling if you express doubt or try to verify. Excuse 4. I think we need some space. We've been too close lately. When she suggests that you've been spending too much time together and proposes taking some space or spending more time apart, claiming it's healthy for the relationship or necessary to maintain individual identities, she's creating emotional and physical distance needed to pursue affair while framing it as relationship health strategy. The space excuse is insidious because relationship experts do recommend maintaining independence, making her request seem psychologically sound. What this excuse actually accomplishes. This excuse accomplishes creating systematic separation that reduces your access to her time, activities, and emotional state. Affairs require sustained contact with a affair partner that's difficult when you're together frequently. By establishing that space is healthy and necessary, she justifies spending less time with you, being less available, and having less accountability for where she is and what she's doing. The space creates room for other relationship. Notice if space request comes suddenly without prior problems. If you've been happily close and she suddenly declares you need distance, something external changed her perspective. People in healthy relationships don't suddenly need space from partners they enjoy. If there was no conflict or complaint about too much togetherness before this declaration, the space isn't for relationship health. It's for creating availability for someone else. Watch what she does with the space. If space means she's spending time on genuine individual pursuits like hobbies, friendships, or personal projects, the request might be legitimate. If space means she's unavailable, unreachable, and secretive about how she's using the separation, she's using space to be with someone else. Real independence involves visible individual activities. Affair time is invisible. Pay attention to whether space includes communication reduction. If needing space extends to not texting as much, not calling when apart, not sharing details about her days, she's not just wanting physical separation, she's wanting emotional separation that prevents you from knowing what she's doing and feeling. If communication decrease coincides with space increase, she's creating information blackout that hides affair activities. Observe whether she's replacing couple time with something visible. If space from you means more time with specific friends, particular hobbies, or identifiable activities, you can see what's filling the gap. If space just means absence with vague explanations and no clear accounting of how time is spent, the gap is being filled with a affair partner she can't tell you about. Notice whether space request affects intimacy and connection. If needing space includes wanting less physical intimacy, sleeping separately, or emotional distancing beyond just spending time apart, she's not trying to maintain healthy independence within relationship. She's trying to create separation that allows her to emotionally and physically invest elsewhere. Space that reduces connection entirely is affair preparation, not relationship health. Why this excuse precedes cheating? This excuse precedes cheating because affairs require both physical time and emotional distance from primary partner. By establishing that space is healthy, she justifies reducing time together, being less available, and sharing less about her life. This separation creates windows for a affair partner, while preventing you from noticing changes in her behavior, schedule, or emotional state that would expose betrayal. Excuse 5. I need to focus on my physical health. I'm joining a gym, starting a new fitness routine. When she announces she's committing to fitness routine that requires significant time investment with gym sessions, workout classes, running groups, or personal training sessions, especially if this comes suddenly, without prior fitness interest, she's creating exercise-based alibis for affair time. The fitness excuse is effective because health improvement seems positive and supportive. Partners encourage it, making questioning her gym time seem like sabotaging her wellness. What this excuse actually accomplishes? This excuse accomplishes providing regular scheduled blocks of time where she'll be unavailable with physical activity as reason. Gym time creates windows where she can be unreachable, claiming she was working out. Fitness classes provide group activities you're not part of where a affair partner could be present. Personal training gives one-on-one time she can claim as professional when it's actually romantic. Workout schedules normalize her being gone regularly without suspicion. Notice if fitness commitment seems genuine or performative. If she's never shown interest in fitness before and suddenly commits extensively, what changed? Real fitness motivation builds gradually. Sudden, intense commitment can indicate excuse creation rather than authentic lifestyle change. If she claims to be working out constantly, but shows no fitness improvement, increased energy, or other health benefits, the workouts aren't happening. Watch whether gym time matches physical evidence. If she's supposedly doing intense hour-long workouts, but returns not sweaty, with perfect hair and makeup, wearing clothes that weren't exercised in, she wasn't at the gym. Real workouts produce physical evidence. If she leaves with gym bag and returns looking exactly the same, or if workout clothes are suspiciously clean, the gym visit was cover for being elsewhere. Pay attention to whether you can verify fitness activities. If she claims to attend specific classes at specific gyms, that's verifiable information. You could check if those classes exist at those times, if she's actually registered, or if the gym has record of her visits. If she becomes defensive about verification, or if checking reveals no record of her membership or attendance, fitness excuse is covering other activities. Observe if fitness activities specifically exclude you. If you offer to join her at the gym, take classes together, or participate in her fitness routine, and she strongly discourages your involvement, She needs these activities to be solo for reason. Real fitness enthusiasts often welcome workout partners. If she insists on exercising alone and creates reasons you can't join even occasionally, she's protecting activities from your observation. Notice whether fitness schedule correlates with other suspicious patterns. If gym time always coincides with when she's most protective of her phone, when she's particularly focused on her appearance, or when she comes home in especially good moods, the gym sessions involve more than exercise. If workout schedule aligns perfectly with other affair indicators, fitness excuse is part of broader deception pattern. Why? This excuse precedes cheating. This excuse precedes cheating because it provides perfect justification for regular absences, physical appearance improvements, and time blocks where being unreachable is expected. She can meet a fair partner, claiming she went to the gym. She can improve her appearance for him while framing it as fitness motivation. She can be unavailable during workout time without suspicion. Fitness excuse creates infrastructure for maintaining affair under wellness improvement guise.